Welcome, everyone. We are excited to have you join us today for Sharsheret in the Kitchen, 2 nutritional strategies to optimize your health and support thrivership with Rachel Beller. I'm Jessica Jablon. I'm the California Regional Director at Sharsheret. For those of you who don't know about Sharsheret, we help women and families facing breast and ovarian cancer, as well as those who are at elevated genetic risk, through free, confidential, and personalized support and resources. In addition to our virtual services that can be found on our website or by emailing us, you can also access prior webinars on a range of cancer-related topics, as well as access our calendar of upcoming virtual programs through our website. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be posted on Sharsheret's website along with a transcript. Participants' faces and names will not be in the recording as long as you remain muted. If you would like to remain private, you can turn off your video and rename yourself, or you can call into the webinar, and instructions are in the chat box now for both options. You may have noticed that all participants were muted upon entry. Please keep yourself on mute throughout the call. If you have questions for Rachel, put them in the chat box either publicly, or you can click on Sharsheret in the chat box to submit a private question, and we'll ask them throughout the program. We also received many questions in advance, and we'll do our best to get as many answered as we can. We will also send out a follow-up email from today's webinar with the recording in the next week or so. As we move into the webinar itself, I also want to remind you that Sharsheret is a national not-for-profit cancer support and education organization and does not provide any medical advice or perform any medical procedures. The information provided by Sharsheret is not a substitute for medical advice or treatment for specific medical conditions. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem. If you have any questions that are specific to your medical care, Rachel may not be able to advise regarding specifics and would advise that you speak to your medical provider. Always seek the advice of your physician or qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. We're very excited for the first Sharsheret in the Kitchen of 2024. This series is an initiative in partnership with Cedars-Sinai here in Los Angeles. And our goal is to empower those of us at risk for breast and ovarian cancer to make healthier diet choices. This webinar is a little different from our other Sharsheret in the Kitchen programs because it isn't a cooking demonstrations, but rather a way that we can look at ways to eat healthier. And prior Sharsheret in the Kitchen webinars can be accessed on our website at the link in the chat. We want to thank our generous sponsors, Cedars-Sinai and the Cooperative Agreement DP-19, whose support allows us to create important educational programming like today's webinar. It's hard to believe that we're already mid-January, and that means that Sharsheret Pink Day is coming up next month on Wednesday, February 14th. Pink Day is a worldwide initiative spearheaded by students, communities, and organizations. And the goal is to empower and educate people on ways to safeguard their health. We wear pink as a way to raise awareness and generate conversations. We engage in Tikkun Olam, repairing the world, through a wide range of educational and fundraising events. Individuals can participate through in-person events by attending our Pink Day Interactive Mandala virtual program, which is going to be happening on February 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Keep a lookout in your inbox for more information about that. And then, of course, on social media. If you are interested in planning a program in your community for Pink Day, please fill out the Contact Us form, which you can find at the link in the chat, or you can email us at info@sharsheret.org. We do our best to make it easy for you by providing educational resources, giveaways, and a media toolkit. If planning an educational event doesn't work for you in February, we do programming all year long. So still reach out if you're interested in bringing a life-saving event to your community. We want to acknowledge that just like Breast Cancer Awareness Month or seeing someone wearing a pink ribbon can be hard for people who have been touched by breast cancer, Pink Day can also be a hard day for some. And we want to remind you that our clinical team is here to support you and your loved ones. Ultimately, we believe these conversations save lives. So please mark your calendar for February 14th, wear pink, and post on your social media and tag @Sharsheret Official. Pink Day is also a great time to be reminded of signs and symptoms of breast and ovarian cancer. My colleague is going to put the link to our Know the Facts resources in the chat. Now, I want to introduce you to Marla, who is going to share her personal story with us. Marla, you're on. Let me.
There we go.
Got
it. Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Marla DeMoss. Very honored to get to say hello to you today before the wonderful Rachel Beller. I'm here speaking with Sharsheret because I was diagnosed with stage 3C triple negative breast cancer in 2020 at the age of 35. And this was 2 weeks following the birth of my second daughter. So as a result of my diagnosis, probably like many of you on the line, I was very unceremoniously thrown into cancer boot camp. So I started to learn as much as I could, as quickly as I could. What is triple negative breast cancer? I didn't know there were subtypes. How bad is my diagnosis? Pretty bad, it turned out. Why did I get this? What's my treatment going to look like? Will I lose my hair? Yes. Will I be okay? Hopefully. What's going to happen to my job, my insurance, all of those things. So it really rocked me to my core in every possible way. And I really couldn't believe as I learned more that I'd made it to 35 without ever even having heard of the BRCA mutation, even after 13 years of Hebrew school. I was haunted that I had found this lump earlier in my pregnancy, but it had been disregarded for 9 months by my doctors. It had had the opportunity to spread to my lymph nodes, grown into a very large tumor, all things that maybe would have had a different outcome if I had known my risk. So once I somewhat got my bearings through chemo, surgery, radiation, adjuvant treatment, I finally had the wherewithal to get connected with Sharsheret. And Sharsheret provided me with resources to be able to help inform others in my extended Ashkenazi family so that they could learn about their own cancer risk and the possibility that they may be carrying the BRCA mutation as well. Through Sharsheret, I also had the incredible opportunity to participate in Rachel's masterclass, which I'm actually getting to repeat starting next week. My mom gave me that gift as a Hanukkah present, so very excited to get to do that again because there's so much good information. And I think it really speaks to one of the most agonizing parts of cancer for me, which was really the waiting and the helplessness and feeling like I couldn't do anything, and not feeling like I had anywhere to channel all the fear and anxiety besides some like very ill-fated late night Googling about my symptoms and prognosis. So Rachel's content, culinary and otherwise, and her masterclass gave me something that I didn't realize I had really been seeking, which was somewhere to channel all of that energy. So through her engaging online dialogue, talking to other people who had a cancer history, live Zoom calls, recipes that there were so many I didn't even get through them all in the first go around, and information. Rachel offered something that I could actually do in an otherwise seemingly very random and unfair and helpless experience. So armed with knowledge, shopping lists, recipes, I left Rachel's talks feeling very empowered and hopeful. My family's still well stocked in the chocolate chip category, but I know that now that like all of that does not undo the good parts of my diet that she's helped me to improve already. So I'm really excited to get to retake her masterclass next week. I'm so grateful for her expertise in helping me navigate very hard, but hopeful world of survivorship. So thank you so much to Sharsheret for the opportunity to get introduced to her, to the super generous donors that help enable their really important work. Thank you, Rachel and your team. And thank you everybody for listening to my story. It was really a privilege to get to share with you.
Thank you so much, Marla. Yeah. I think it's really wonderful to hear from you, and I think that you so eloquently shared some of those concerns that happen when someone has a cancer diagnosis, and we're just so grateful that you were here with us today to share. If anyone has questions regarding their genetic history, feel free to reach out to our genetic counselor, Peggy. We'll put her email in the chat, genetics@sharsheret.org, and just know that we're here for you. We've been fortunate to hear from Rachel Beller on several Sharsheret in the Kitchen programs over the last few years. Healthy eating is a topic that we're constantly getting questions about, and so we knew we had to bring Rachel back for another informative webinar. I'm excited to introduce her. Rachel is a registered dietitian nutritionist and creator of the Beller Method and the Beller Nutritional Community Outreach Program. She specializes in weight management and cancer risk reduction and is a 4-time best-selling author and spokesperson for the American Cancer Society. She sits on several medical advisory boards, including Sharsheret, and Rachel conducted research on the role of nutrition in breast cancer risk reduction at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and the John Wayne Cancer Institute at Providence St. John's Health Center for over a decade. She's worked with a lot of celebrities and is the go-to nutritionist for Good Morning America, The Today Show, Extra, Dr. Oz, CNN, and more. Her mission is to provide a high level of nutritional support at an affordable price through her 8-week transformation masterclass, which Marla mentioned. And that welcomes members from all over the globe. And the next one starts this weekend. Also, please stay tuned to the end of the webinar as we are excited to give away Rachel's latest book, Spice Rack, with one of her best-selling Power Spice nutrition blends. Thank you, Rachel, for donating that to us. One person will win this giveaway who fills out our evaluation. So Rachel, welcome to Sharsheret in the Kitchen again, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and my goal is to empower and educate you all, and I'm going to get right to it and share my screen and get the presentation going. So today I'm going to talk about 2 nutritional strategies to help optimize your health and support thrivership. The Beller method it really is an entire method. It's a roadmap for my patients, for my masterclass participants, and the community at large. As a dietitian, my passion is to translate complex nutritional science into actionable solutions so that individuals can have clarity and confidence when they're approaching their nutrition, when they're thinking about what they're choosing to put in their body. It's very important to take away the fear and instill a strong sense of confidence. And that is my goal with you all today. So there are several principles that I focus on. And today I'm just going to unpack 2 of them for the sake of time. So the first topic is fiber. And this is something you've been hearing a lot about. I'm going to give you 5 good reasons to include more fiber in your diet. And I'll talk about the goals as well. So the first one is that fiber helps maintain a healthy body weight, which is so important when it comes to cancer risk reduction and our optimal health. It also helps reduce and remove excess hormones out of the body, such as estrogen, cholesterol, potential carcinogens. It promotes a healthy gut microbiome, which has a huge impact when it comes to our health. It helps modulate blood sugars and also supports our immunity. So all of these are important. I will address each and every one of these, but for practical purposes, I want to mention that fiber acts like a cleaning crew. I want you to think about it when you're thinking about including more fiber in your diet. I want you to think about you inviting a cleaning crew into your body to help with cleaning, to remove things that shouldn't be there and to really support your body. Many times we focus on detox products, like let's say this was something somebody touted for detoxification. I really can't stress enough that fiber is really your first stop in the detoxification process. So let's talk numbers. People always ask me, Rachel, how much fiber should I be aiming for? One of the things I do want to stress is that everybody starts at a different place. Some people go from 10 grams on average for their day, and I wouldn't want them to jump to 30 overnight. So you really have to pace yourself. But overall, looking at a large body of evidence, looking at the research, 30 to 35 grams is usually where I'll want my patients to what I want them to aim for. And the number can vary from person to person. Again, you want to pace yourself, but this comes from the literature. And what I have found when it comes to cancer risk reduction is that really going over that 20, 25, over 29 grams a day is where it really makes a difference. Now, people struggle with getting enough fiber, and I wanted to show you an example of why that is. So what you see here on the left side of the screen is an example of somebody who's eating a pretty healthy diet. They have some oatmeal in the morning, some fruit, a large salad with maybe a turkey burger, some fish, lots of vegetables, brown rice for dinner. Yet that individual is meeting about half of where I want them to be. So what that means is that you need a strategy, and the strategy should be simple, and I'm going to help you with that today. Fiber assists with weight management, and weight management is very important when it comes to cancer risk reduction. So that ties into the different types of foods that we buy, that we utilize day to day. And today I'm just going to show you one example that has to do with how we shop for bread, for example. Again, there's multiple foods. I'm just going to show you one. So right here on the left, you see a flourless sprouted bread. It has 0 flour. On the right here, you have a bread that's organic, perhaps multi-grain, 10 grain, 100 grain, 1,000 grain. Doesn't really make a difference, but it has, it's mainly made out of flour. You don't see visible intact grains within the slice. And what I do want to convey is that you want to go for a bread, preferably that's flourless, because you want to give your body an opportunity to have to work to break down through those exterior barriers of the intact whole grains. Your body has to work through those layers, and what that means is stable blood sugars, and your body is actually experiencing an internal workout, breaking down that food. Again, stable energy, blood sugar modulation. Your body is working hard to do that. And if you want, you can think of it as similar in nature to 2 individuals who need to get to the 10th floor. One takes the elevator and one takes the stairs. The individual who took the stairs had to go through a little bit of a workout, and that in turn yields a return for their health. So that's how we want to think about our food. Again, this is very individualized. Individuals who are undergoing treatment might need to slow down on some of these foods based on how they're digesting food. But all in all, that's something that we're aiming for with how we're purchasing, and also thinking about how to manage our weight and blood sugars. Number 2, fiber can help reduce estrogen levels. So when we get enough fiber, more estrogen gets excreted out of our bodies. So as you can see here in the graphic, we've got insoluble fiber acting like a brush, scrubbing your insides clean. And then you have soluble fiber acting like a sponge that says, oh, you've released excess hormones like excess estrogen, perhaps it's excess cholesterol that also supports us, potential carcinogens, and it grabs it and increases stool weight of these excess hormones. When we don't get enough fiber, what happens is that the excess hormones and potential carcinogens and other things, they get recycled. They go back into our blood system and they get recycled. Number 3, fiber promotes a healthy gut microbiome. This is so important. I know you've been hearing a lot about this. And gut health is essential. It's essential for anybody. We really want to look at it also as something that helps reduce cancer risk when we have a good, healthy gut microbiome. It helps balance our hormones. It helps activate phytoestrogens. These are plant estrogens. When we have a good, healthy gut microbiome, they are more active to be more protective for us. They do a better job. Also, our immune system gets enhanced, and there are lots of benefits to supporting our gut microbiome. And I do want you to think of it as a garden. How you treat it is going to impact how things grow. So I want to talk a little bit about prebiotic fibers. And you could see here at the bottom of the screen, different sources, different foods that are rich in prebiotic fibers. And what's special about these prebiotic fibers is that they have direct access into our large intestines. This is where that garden is. So when you're eating these prebiotic fibers, they have direct access, and you can see here the good bacteria is everything is lush and growing, and you've got a good environment in there. And what happens in turn is that you create what's called short chain fatty acids, known as postbiotics. These are byproducts that when they're present, that supports our immune function. It helps reduce cancer risk. It helps reduce body inflammation, and also supports weight management. Now, when we have a low fiber diet, what happens is the bad bacteria takes over. The garden, things are wilting, and that has a negative impact on our gut microbiome. It's something called dysbiosis, which is an abnormal bacterial balance in the gut. And that in turn suppresses our immune system, promotes inflammation, increases our risk for a variety of cancers. It could affect your weight. So we really want to focus on these great prebiotic fibers and keep that garden in a good lush and thriving. Number 4, fiber helps with our blood sugar modulation. This is also very, very important. I know a lot of you have questions about modulating our blood sugars. So when we have high blood sugars, we produce more insulin. And then in turn, we also have increased IGF-1, which is a pro-inflammatory growth hormone that could promote cell growth. So it's important for us to think about modulating our blood sugars when we're eating, when we're pairing our foods. And you can think about these fibers, especially soluble fibers, as an extra set of brakes. And that helps modulate our blood sugars, which reduces our risk for cancer, and it increases thrivership. Last but not least, fiber can also help support our immune system. I find this fascinating. I'd say a few years back, I didn't hear much about this. And it's important. There are these special prebiotic fibers known as beta-glucans, and these fibers have a dual function. One is that they act as prebiotics, and they feed the good bacteria in our gut. And number 2, they enhance our immune system in that they engage and interact with these cells in our GI tract to stimulate our immune defense. Really interesting stuff. And I think that something as simple as fiber, knowing that that has such an impact, is very empowering and motivating. There are a variety of foods that are rich in these beta-glucans. I love recommending mushrooms, any kind of mushroom, fresh, a variety, dry, dehydrated mushrooms. I always recommend keeping those in your power pantry. You might want to explore a little bit of a mushroom powder, but again, I would go food first, and I would recommend a variety of mushrooms. Fresh mushrooms, and also the dehydrated ones are very convenient and easy to keep. And many times it's a little bit more inexpensive to keep those and to have those on hand. So let's get into action mode, because this is my favorite part. This is where I roll up my sleeves, and I love this. I just love this. This is part of what gets me really excited with patient care and my masterclass participants is, what are you going to do? You have this information, you have the scientific, we have evidence-based nutrition, and we have lots of science, but what are you going to do with this? That's really where it's at. So the big picture goal here when it comes to fiber is to climb your way up at your pace. That's important, to 30-35, and you want to get diverse sources of fiber. So one tip that I have several, but one is to set a goal to front load your day with at least or about 10 grams of fiber before noon. So one simple way to do that is to start a rotation and start incorporating fiber boosters. Examples of fiber boosters, I'm just giving you a little bit of my starter kit ones that I like to use. It could be basil seeds, which are totally neutral, chia seeds, white or black. I do prefer the white ones. Sprouted, ground, vacuum sealed flax, whole hemp seed. It could be whole or whole ground. Has a nice crunch to it. That is something that will give you both fiber and protein if you're going for the whole seed versus the heart. But all in all, the point is that you can very quickly advance your fiber intake with one of these fiber boosters. So here's what I mean. You have this bowl of steel cut oats. A serving has 4 grams of fiber. We want to get to 10. So by adding just 1 tablespoon of one of these fiber boosters, on average, depending on which one you're adding, you're going to suddenly end up at 8, 9, perhaps 10 grams of fiber just by doing that. You're going to add a little bit of fruit. You're going to get another 1.5 grams. And then, of course, you can add other things. I'm big into adding power spices and other things to help modulate your blood sugars and to crank up the value of your breakfast. But when it comes to fiber boosters, this is where we're starting. That's the easiest way to do it. So I usually tell people, start with the basic 4, and then after a few months, and you're not starting with all 4 at once, pick one. Keep it simple. I can't stress this enough. With nutrition, you want and probably need to keep it simple. Start with 1 or 2. You want to start with things that you can visualize doing for the long run, something that's sustainable. So you pick 1, maybe 2, use those for a few months, maybe introduce another one. Maybe you'll start noticing that you have a preference, but you just need 1 or 2. And then after a few months, you can add another type of fiber that is totally different, like a prebiotic fiber powder, maybe oat fiber. Maybe you want to start incorporating psyllium into your diet, not in lieu of these starter ones, just in addition. When you're ready, you want to start advancing. So all in all, it's very important to diversify your fibers. Diversification is key. We're aiming for our daily 30, 35-ish or so. And we want to make sure that we have different kinds. Again, insoluble fiber, soluble fiber, within that category, focusing on some of these prebiotic fibers, asking yourself if you're including those that are also rich in those immune supportive beta glucans like oats and nori sheets and mushrooms and things like that. But keep it simple and start slow. The second tip I have for advancing your fiber intake is to include a plant-based protein at least once a day. This is going to make it a lot easier. Remember the salad I showed you with the turkey burger or the fish? If you sub one of those with a plant-based protein, I would say about 3/4 to a cup of, let's say, a cooked lentil or a chickpea or something like that, that's going to help advance you. And you won't have to sit there and calculate your grams every day and think about it. It's just you're gonna have this on autopilot. So some examples that are convenient and inexpensive. You can buy Tetra Pak garbanzo beans or any kind of bean that comes in these Tetra Paks, or today they have them in pouches too. Sprouted lentils, sprouted mung beans are fantastic. What I love about them, aside from being budget friendly, is that the fact that they're sprouted means that you're going to, it enhances nutrient absorption. So your body will absorb more of the nutrients. And what's magical about them as well is that they only take 5 minutes to cook. So that's a huge plus. Fast food at its best. Edamame organic would be another example. There are flavored options in pouches, so you don't have to worry about anything if you need something super fast. And there are a lot of portable options. You're going out for a meal and you're pretty sure, a casual meal, and you're pretty sure that they don't have a plant-based protein to help you with your fiber goal, then you can bring something and take it in your purse, and it's easy. So again, plant-based proteins are an easy way to help you reach your fiber goal. And I do want to highlight some other benefits when you're opting to do so. So I consider plant-based proteins to be premium. I put them in the premium category. And the reason for that is because they're rich in cancer-fighting phytochemicals. As we talked about, they're very rich in fiber. They support our gut microbiome. They help us with our weight management goals. They don't have any excess hormones, natural occurring hormones, and they do contain anti-inflammatory properties. So there are a lot of benefits to incorporating them aside from just helping you reach your fiber goal. So now I'm going to shift gears and briefly talk about the other, I have my 10 nutrition commandments, and this is one other one, which is something I'm very passionate about, and that is the power of spicing. So when it comes to spicing, I feel like this is something you guys already have in your power pantries right now. It's sustainable, and it has such a dramatic impact on transforming the nutritional value of your meals that I thought it would be great to highlight it today. So 5 reasons to spice up your life. Spices have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, very concentrated. They help with cancer risk reduction, support our weight, our gut health. And again, as I mentioned, it's sustainable. It's something you can do. It's something you're already doing. We just want to put it front of mind and talk about the different synergistic effects of different spices and how to pair things and how to incorporate it with ease and consistency. So I personally got very intrigued when it came to spices. I came across this article from the American Institute for Cancer Research titled The Spices of Cancer Protection. And I thought to myself, with everything that my patients are being introduced to from their neighbors and from people who mean really well, but there are a lot of different supplements and different ideas and different approaches that lack scientific evidence. Here's something that is so simple yet has such a strong impact. So I started to look at the research, and there are thousands and thousands of studies on a variety of different spices aside from turmeric. So a little bit about the science. Spices have been shown to help reduce body inflammation. There have been different studies looking at introducing spices and their impact on reducing body inflammation. And that's very encouraging. There's research also looking at how spices support our gut health. And this was interesting at a UCLA, showing how it had a dual effect in it promoted a healthy gut microbiome, but also had a positive effect in that it inhibited the bad bacteria as well. So again, just giving you a little bit about how it supports us in different ways without getting into too much of the details due to time. And the antioxidant value, this was fascinating to me. This is a study that was published, and what they did is they simply took 3,100 foods, and using what's called a FRAP assay, they assessed the antioxidant value. And if you see here, spices, clove actually came out as #1. Spices ranked really high. They're a very rich source of antioxidants. Of course, what we're looking at here is not consuming, huge amounts. I mean, clove is something you'd want to use a little bit, but being that it ranks so high and has so much to offer on the antioxidant front, what it tells us is that a little bit can go such a long way. So I'm going to give you one example here. So I have my own spice line, my own blends. I combine different things for their synergistic effect. And because of that, I'm able to analyze my own product because I know the behind the scenes. That's my point here. So here's one example using the information from that study. So if you take, let's say, half a cup of rolled oats and some plant-based milk, on average, we're looking at an antioxidant value based on that information of about 136. Then we're adding a teaspoon of what I have as my golden breakfast blend, but you could do this yourself. It's basically a combination of organic Ceylon cinnamon, cacao, and turmeric. What that did was incredible because it transformed the antioxidant value by 9.5 fold. So you went from 136 to 1292, which is incredible because this is so simple and you probably already have this in your pantries already. Another example, you could take sprouted tofu and add a spice blend to it, and you can increase the antioxidant value by 52%. Same with chickpeas. You can add half a teaspoon of what we have as our Vegetrude power, but you can combine granulated onion, garlic, turmeric, parsley, and black pepper. Adding that would also increase the antioxidant value by 61%. Again, these are just examples. These are averages with something that I have that was known to me. My message is that spices in general, not just my spices, have a huge impact when it comes to your health, adding antioxidant value, anti-inflammatory properties, flavor, and it's all easy. And you can incorporate spices in different foods and beverages. So I like to recommend a variety of beverages, and because it's what we eat, what we drink. And I like to look at the day comprehensively with all of that. So I want to encourage you to try something new, perhaps. Like this is one of our latest ones that I feature in my new book, Spice Rack. So black cumin ruby tonic. And what it has is black cumin seeds. I love recommending black cumin seeds as a tonic in that it helps with digestion. I really love drinking this after a meal. And it also is rich in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. I combine this one specifically with hibiscus tea, and I add my Cinepil Spicer blend, which has Ceylon cinnamon, organic ginger, and a little bit of granulated orange peel. That combination, I make a huge batch of it, but what I'm showing you is that these things are simple and also very soothing, and it's a new year. Let's try some new things. And I'm going to give you one other example. This is a barley grass latte. What makes this special is that it has barley grass, which is young barley. It does not have any gluten, by the way. A lot of people think that because it comes from barley, it might have gluten, but it's very young and it's not. It does not contain any gluten. What I like and why I mentioned that it's a bedtime latte is that it's rich in GABA, which helps us relax. So I like recommending this before bed, and it also is rich in beta glucans, which support our immune system. We talked about that earlier. And then also has antioxidants. Some people ask me about a substitution for matcha. It's very different from matcha. The taste is semi-similar, and this would be something you can add or something you can try. I hope I've encouraged you to try some new things and to think about them, but don't pursue everything at once. Pick a few things and start to create a game plan for yourself. And you want to introduce things when it comes to nutrition with a phased approach. Pick a couple things, work on it for a week, and then add one more. Don't try to add 10 things on the first week. I think that having small, measurable, achievable micro goals is really important when it comes to initiating a nutritional game plan. Available resources, as we mentioned in the beginning, my book that was just published, Spice Rack, a spicy action plan with recipes to help reduce the risk of cancer and manage your weight, has my 10 nutrition commandments, 10 chapters followed by 100 recipes, some of which I shared with you here during this presentation. And our Transformation Masterclass, which is an 8-week program where I walk you through my method with a phased approach. Every week we tackle something new, but it shouldn't feel overwhelming. That is an opportunity and something that we have just a few times a year. Our next one starts on January 13th. It doesn't mean you need to be there on January 13th. It just means that I'll release the first set of modules and a little bit of information. We have group Zoom sessions like we are having right now. And then you also get a couple meetings with a registered dietitian and daily engagements. So it's an incredible opportunity and a great value. And I would love to have you join. And we did create a special code just for Sharsheret that you can use at checkout, which is Sharsheret 20. So I think we're going to open up some questions.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Rachel. That was so incredible and so much, wonderful information. If you have questions, please type them into the chat. I'm going to start with one that we got a few people mentioned here, and also we got as people registered. But can you talk a little bit about soy products and their safety?
Sure. I actually knew this question was coming. I think it's here. Sorry, I was kind of speeding through, but here we go. So I get this question all the time, so I thought I would conveniently put it here. So I get this to soy or not to soy question a lot, and the answer is yes, to go with whole soy as something that we do consider protective. Leading cancer organizations are also in agreement with this recommendation. And I can briefly review the logic behind that. So what we're looking at here is a cell that has, we have different receptors on our cells. And there's an alpha receptor and a beta receptor. And so what we naturally have is estrogen that's in our body, naturally occurring estrogen. And it has an affinity to go to the alpha receptor and of our cell. When it does, it tells our cells to multiply and divide. And that's something that we don't want if something's going on. The phytoestrogen, which is the plant estrogen that we get from a variety of plant foods like soy, flax, sesame seeds, a variety of fruits. We get beans, legumes. There are a lot of foods that are rich in phytoestrogens. Those phytoestrogens have an affinity to go to the beta cell receptor. And when it does, it tells cells not to multiply and divide. It has an anti-proliferation effect. So what happens is when the plant-based estrogen goes to where it likes to go to, which is the beta receptor, it acts as a decoy and it sends a signal over to the alpha receptor telling it, hey, I'm here, so I'm going to shut your door and you need to leave, basically. So it's not going to have that negative effect. And so it's protective. And that's something that is important because it is stimulating the estrogen receptor, the beta receptor. And by doing so, it's blocking the more powerful effects of the estrogen and what it would have in its impact on the alpha receptor. So I would definitely encourage being more inclusive of this plant-based protein. And there are multiple ways to get it. There's edamame, there's sprouted organic tofu, there's tempeh. And again, there are other foods as well, beans and legumes and fruits. There are a lot of foods that contain these protective phytoestrogens. And some people will ask me, if they're not estrogen receptor positive, they ask about what are the benefits of soy for other cancers in general. We're talking also about ovarian cancer, other cancers. Well, soy as a plant-based protein is rich in antioxidants. It has a lot of essential minerals. We have fiber, cancer-fighting compounds that protect us on the cellular level. So there are a lot of benefits to this plant-based protein. So I would definitely encourage incorporating it into your diet.
Great. It's such a topic that we even saw a little bit of in the chat of to soy or not to soy. I like how you phrased that, and so it's great to have this information. Are there any herbs or spices that you should add or avoid during active breast cancer treatment?
That's a great question. So the short end of it is to refrain from using concentrated isolates from herbs and spices. For example, a lot of people will take curcumin, for example, when they're on a medication or doing active treatment. And I don't recommend doing that. But culinary herbs and spices are fine. That's a whole food and that's perfectly fine. So if you have a spice blend that you like that has turmeric, even if there's a contraindication of using turmeric usually with a medication, we're looking at supplements. I've spoken to a lot of pharmacists about this, and it's really, unless you're having 2 heaping tablespoons of turmeric a day, which would be insane. Yes, I would refrain from these isolated compounds, like the active compound, and turmeric is curcumin. I wouldn't take that. But again, whole culinary spices and herbs are perfectly fine.
Thank you. What protein drinks or powders do you recommend?
Oh, sure. Oh, wait, I think I threw this. I was working on something else. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. This last one I have though for that one, but this happens to be there. This is just 2 examples of a protein powder that I like. I like single ingredient protein powders. I don't want to see a label that has a gazillion things thrown in there for marketing purposes. This is strictly 100% just is one ingredient, which is going to be almonds. So this is an almond protein powder. I love using the almond protein powder, preferably an organic one if you can find it, because it doesn't have a chalky taste. Most of my patients, I get a good response when they're using it. If they're stirring it into, let's say, a plant-based protein, or they're adding it into a smoothie, or they're just stirring it with a little bit of milk and drinking it to get a protein boost throughout their day. It's very user-friendly. Oatmeal, I mean, you name it, you can add it in there. And again, that lends to the ease of doing things. With nutrition, you want to integrate things that you can visualize. Like I always tell my patients, close your eyes, dial forward 6, 9, 12, 18 months, open your eyes. If you can sustain what we just put in place, we're good to go. So if something doesn't taste great, or it's a lot of work, or it's not sustainable financially, whatever it is, if it's not sustainable for you, then we need to revisit, because with nutrition, the key thing is that cumulative effect over time. That's what we're going for. So if you start a trend with a supplement, or you're jumping on a trend, sorry, by taking a supplement or adding something that you're going to do for 2 to 3 months, and then you're going to abandon it because it's not realistic for you, there's no point. Because just like research studies with nutrition, you're looking for that long-term intervention, consistency.
It's all of this is just such important information, and you can see that the chat is just blowing up with more and more questions. And I know, unfortunately, we are out of time for today, but we will do our best to see if we can get some of these questions answered. We just want to thank you so much, Rachel. I know I learned a whole lot from you today, and I love how you were talking about kind of, not being overwhelmed, but taking things step by step. I think that's just such a wonderful approach.
Yes.
This is such a great way to start our new year with some concrete ways to help improve our habits. We recommend that you follow Rachel on social media and check out her books. Our links for those are in the chat. Again, I want to thank Marla for sharing her meaningful story and her experience with us. Please take a moment to fill out the brief evaluation survey that's linked in the chat box now. As I mentioned, we are giving away 1 copy of Rachel's latest book and her spice blends that she generously donated. If you're interested, please fill out the evaluation to enter the giveaway. And also, if you're interested in planning a community program for Pink Day, let us know about that. Evaluations really do inform our future programming. So thank you so much for just taking a minute to fill that out. Please never forget that our social workers and genetic counselor are here for you and your loved ones. Sharsheret provides emotional support, mental health counseling, and other programs designed to help you navigate the cancer experience. All are free, completely private, one-on-one. Our number is 866-474-2774. And you can also email us at clinicalstaff@sharsheret.org. Finally, I want to share a couple of exciting webinars we have planned over the next few weeks. On January 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, you can hear up-to-the-minute breakthroughs in the treatment and prevention of breast cancer shared at the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium. The link to register is in the chat. And then on January 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, join us for an Namaste Mondays, where you can join Sharsheret to relax and rejuvenate through movement during our yoga series. This series is catered to those affected by cancer and will help bring awareness to the body. The link for that is in the chat. Please check out our website regularly to see what topics are coming up. There's a link to that in the chat. I know it's a lot happening here at Sharsheret. You can also access the recordings and transcripts of all of our past webinars on our website. From all of us at Sharsheret, thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you a wonderful 2024.